Overview 1848 থেকে 1856. It will cover the following topics: Dalhousie 1848 to 56, Doctrine of Lapse, Charter Act of 1853, Wood's Dispatch of 1854, Education Act যেটা। Dalhousie, youngest Governor General of India to assume post of 36 years. He started 36 ইয়ার্সে এসেছিল। হি স্টার্টেড মাল্টিপল ওয়ার্কস অ্যান্ড কমপ্লিটেড দেম। ব্রিটিশ ইন্ডিয়া অন দ্য এভ অফ ডালহাউসি's arrival. Most of the region of South Asia was controlled by East India Company. He had nothing to expand but only to make regime better. Maker of modern India. কেন? Father of India telegraph, father of Indian railways, father of Indian postal system reformed and expanded, father of Indian engineering services, did a lot in public works like formation of canals, bridges, etc. Telegraph. In 1852, under superintendence of O. Shaughnessy, 4,000 miles of lines were laid down. First line কোথা থেকে হয়েছিল? আগ্রা to Calcutta 1854. Later connected Calcutta, Peshawar, Bombay and Madras telegraphically. Proved to be a boon for the British in revolt of 1857. তারপর হচ্ছে postal system. Laid down foundation of modern postal system in 1854 with introduction of postal stamps. Though postal system started in India by the English in 1837, uniform postal rate across India, standardization of modern post. তারপর হচ্ছে railways. Started guarantee system by which the investors were guaranteed a minimum interest of 5% on their investment of railway infrastructure in India. Government retained the right of buying the railway. It started mainly for the commercial, administrative and defense reasons. Its first railway line Bombay to Then 1853, second Calcutta to Raniganj, Coalfield 1854, third Madras to Arakonam 1856. Railway served as a lever for the Indian society. Earlier, there was caste-based discrimination prevalent in society. Higher caste people wouldn't allow to sit lower caste people near them, but railway tends to neglect this. Later in freedom struggle also, railway served as a medium of fast commute. Gandhiji connected to society on large through railway and also traveled throughout India to lead revolution from railway only. Indian engineering services laid the foundation of Indian engineering services, created separate public work departments, allotted more funds for cutting canals and roads. Upper Ganga Canal was constructed in 1854. Many bridges were constructed. Opened first engineering college in Roorkee, present IIT Roorkee. Social and educational reforms. Passed the Widow Remarriage Act 1856. Recommended the setting up of universities in Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. In 1853, open competition for civil services began. Now Indians could also compete for civil services. Written exams started in 1854 in India. Educational reforms of Sir Charles Wood 1854 are considered as the intellectual charter of India, which provided an outline for primary, secondary and collegiate levels of education. Administrative reforms. Consolidations of British rule in India. He adopted the principle of centralization. For the newly acquired territories, he devised the non-regulation system, under which commissioners were appointed to deal with the administrative problems. States were divided into districts where commissioners were made in charge. It was first applied in Punjab after its defeat in 1848. They were made responsible to the Governor General in Council. He handed over all other powers relating to justice, police and land revenue to district magistrates. Military reforms. Shimla as summer capital of administration and headquarter of army. New Gorkha regiment raised distrust of natives. Shifted Bengal artillery headquarter from Calcutta to Meerut. Policy of the general movements of troops towards north and west. Policy of annexation. Annexed Lower Burma, Pegu after Second Burmese War 1852. Annexed Awadh 1856 on the basis of mismanagement. Thus he offended Muslims and Indian soldiers of British Army, mostly from Awadh. After Battle of Buxar 1764, Awadh got relations with English East India Company. It militarily helped East India Company in annexation of many other states. Nawab Wajid Ali Shah was not much interested in ruling kingdom but art and culture. Annexed Punjab, Second Anglo-Sikh War. এটা হয়েছিল তারপর ডক্ট্রিন অফ ল্যাপস ইন অ্যানশিয়েন্ট ইন্ডিয়ান ট্রেডিশন অফ অ্যাডপ্টিং আ মেল চাইল্ড ফ্রম এক্সটেন্ডিং রয়্যাল ফ্যামিলি ইন কেস the king was the policy of lapse was based on was based on difference in principle between the right to inherit property and right to govern. Adopted son was allowed to inherit property but not to inherit the right to rule the kingdom. It was the East India Company to decided who ruled next. Annexed states were monitored by chief commissioners with introduction of centralized control called non-regulation system for modern centralized states. It was no longer a princely state but was direct under British rule. List of states: Satara 1848, Jayapur and Sambalpur, তারপর বাঘাট, উদয়পুর, ঝাঁসি, নাগপুর. Merit of doctrine of lapse: post independence it helped in formation of cohesive India, as these princely states were already under the direct rule of British. So when India got independence, only power transfer from British to India. His territorial acquisition transformed the map of India. Had he not acquired these territories, then many more Hyderabad, Jawaharnagar and Kashmir-like crises would have happened in those areas. Immediately after freedom in 1947. Demerits: humiliations of king of princely states and their citizens. Reasons for aggressive acquisition: strategic imperial defense in case Russia attacked. Then he wanted united army from India to fight against Russia. Also ending the misrule of princes to win goodwill of people. Commercial sources of raw material, new markets for manufactured goods. Charter Act of 1853. Last series of the Charter Act. This act separated for the first time the legislative and the executive function of the Governor General Council. Fourth member of the Governor General in Council at par with the other members, as right to vote was conferred to him. Adoption of 6 members to council known as legislative councillors, out of which 4 members were appointed by local provincial governments of Madras, Bombay, Bengal and Agra. It introduced local representation in the Central Legislative Council. Total number of members became 10. The new post Lieutenant Governor of Bengal was created. Reduction in the number of board of directors from 24 to 18. 6 were nominated. Indian Civil Services became an open competition. Macaulay was made the chairman of the committee on the Indian Civil Services, Macaulay Committee. Written competitive exams started from 1854. তারপর হচ্ছে Wood's Dispatch 1854. In 1854, Charles Wood prepared a dispatch policy document on educational system for India. Considered as a Magna Carta of the English education in India, this document was the first comprehensive plan for the spread of education in India. Asked the government to assume responsibility for education of the masses, thus rejecting the downward filtration theory, at least on paper. Provision of Wood's Dispatch: systematic framing of the hierarchy for educational institutions. Vernacular primary school in villages at bottom. Anglo vernacular high schools at affiliated college at the district level. Affiliating universities in the presidency towns of Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Recommended English as a medium of the instruction for higher studies and vernacular at school level. Laid stress on female and vocational education and on teachers training. Laid down that the education imparted in government institutions should be secular. Recommended a system of grant in aid to encourage private institutes. Thus we find implications of Wood's Dispatch even today. That's why it is important.